Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, back for another episode of Rednecks and Pigskins, Blood on the Gridiron. Minding hasn't joined us just yet. As far as I know, he still plans to. But with us as usual is my son, J Kid.
What's up, everybody?
And stop the echo because I'm a moron. Forgot to mute the video again. All right, so week 10 in the bag.
Yep.
Well, since Mining isn't here and he usually does the news, you said you had a couple of pieces, and hey, all you need, how's it going?
Yeah, I got a few things. Cam Chancellor with the Seattle Seahawks is expected to miss the rest of the season, so that defense takes another hit.
Yep.
I think it was a neck injury, is what they were reporting. And this on the heels of they just signed Byron Maxwell to replace Richard Sherman. So, just as they try to make the moves to right the ship, there's another hit that comes in.
Yep.
What else we got? Danny Woodhead is expected to be back for the Ravens. He hasn't played since week 1 with a hamstring injury. So that gives, while not great, it gives Baltimore a little bit of a run game. I would put Woodhead above what they have had for the rest of the season.
Oh, yeah. And these days, a serviceable run game is about all you need, just enough to get your play action, or so it seems.
Well, they have to believe that play action.
Yeah.
I mean, as a secondary Colts fan, and then you as a primary Colts fan, we know that without a run game, that play action doesn't mean anything.
Boy, don't we know it.
It never stopped Peyton or Andrew or any of them from trying it. Just defense never bid on it, so it didn't really do them any good.
And by the way, while we're at it, you can probably hear J Kid has a terrible cold or something, so bear with us. He'll
Yeah, I
snot through it.
apologize.
He'll snot through it just as best he can.
I guess without going into too many details, because this has been a cluster, to put it nicely. Jerry Jones continues to be an idiot.
Yeah, I seen he was fighting with the head office a little bit.
It's been going on for some time, and now that this Ezekiel Elliott suspension is in full effect, he's decided to take it up another level. From what I understand, there's speculation that there may have been an agreement between Goodell and Jerry Jones. Details on it are really fuzzy, but it seems that Goodell had kind of offered to not suspend Ezekiel Elliott had Jerry Jones backed him on the contract extension.
Right.
Jerry Jones did back him, and then Ezekiel still got suspended. And that's kind of set Jerry Jones off the deep end.
Yeah.
If that's true, I don't blame him. But I find it kind of hard to believe.
Well, let's be honest. It's hard to tell with Jerry. You never can tell about Jerry Jones, but on the same token, I've been of a mind we need a new commissioner for a long time now. So,
yeah. Well, unfortunately, we're not getting one. That contract extension did happen.
Yeah.
So. Speaking of contract extensions, Larry Fitzgerald agreed to terms with the Arizona Cardinals for 1 more year. I believe it was 1 year, $10 million. Might have been $11 million, something to that effect.
Hey, they can give me one million and I'll just sit on their bench. I don't care.
right? I don't even need that 6-0.
Nope.
And last but not least, I don't know if it's really news since he's been hurt for a while, but the Fitzpatrick curse continues as he will start for the Buccaneers as Jameis Winston is still out.
Yeah, speaking of Jameis, that was the one piece of news I did remember. He's been accused of groping up some young girl, which I'm surprised hasn't happened before now, given his past in college, but that seems to be going around a lot these days.
The only thing I gather from that is she must have had crabs.
Must have. Must have.
Back to the Fitzpatrick curse, though. This is something I wasn't aware that existed, and it's kind of mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm.
So this curse says that if Fitzpatrick is your backup quarterback, chances are at some point during the season, you are going to get injured. So Fitzpatrick was drafted in 2005.
Right.
And as he was the backup, the starting quarterback for whatever team he was on was injured in 2005, 2008, 2009, 2013, 2014, 2015, twice in 2016, and 2017.
Wow. It's kind of like the Madden curse, isn't it?
That might be worse than the Madden curse.
Wow. I think if I was a quarterback on a team, I'd kind of hate to see him come in. I'd be checking my insurance policy.
At the very least. But that is all the news I have.
All right. Well, if Minding shows up later, he might have more and we can go back to it. Also, a heads up, we might cut the stream short about a half hour early tonight if we can get through everything. I've got some stuff going on, and at 7:30, it's going to be real tough for me to do a live stream and do what I need to do at that time, same time. I can do it, but we might. We'll see what happens. So, okay, if that's all the news, I guess we can head over to the scores. Excuse me. Which, first off, we would have the Thursday, or no, wouldn't have Thursday night. We would have already covered that.
Yep.
So first off, Jets 10, Buccaneers 15.
That game was what I thought it would be. I think when you first said that game, when we were doing our picks, my initial reaction was ew. And ew is kind of what that game was.
Yeah. It could have went either way, so yeah, it's really not a shock to see who did win it. But I wouldn't be any more shocked if the Jets had won it. It was really kind of a toss-up on who was the worst, who wanted to lose the worst.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Fitzpatrick did play well. Or he didn't play horrible, I guess. Their defense did look a little reminiscent of the defense that began the season. But then again, they were playing the Jets, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Right. Okay. Next game, I feel a little differently about, however. Saints 47, Bills 10. Ouch.
Yeah, I said last week I'd be interested to see if New Orleans could keep up their high scoring ways against that Buffalo defense. And man, did they.
Boy, I'm telling you. And didn't I hear that, yeah, Tyrod got
Yep.
benched.
He did. That's actually a piece of news I forgot to write down. Nathan Peterman came in during that game and will start this week for Buffalo. I have no idea who this kid is.
Well, right off the bat, he done better than Tyrod. Tyrod was 9 of 18 for 56 and an interception, no touchdown. Nathan was 7 of 10, 79 yards, and a touchdown.
That's what I did read in here, that he played well at the time that he did play, but I don't know what that means for Buffalo going forward.
Right.
And I'm not sure I'd have given up on Tyrod.
No, he obviously was having a rough game, but yeah, I was a little shocked to hear that he got benched. I didn't see the game. I was a little shocked to hear that he got benched because he's played pretty good ball up to this point. I mean, he's had his moments. What quarterback hasn't?
Right.
But
you still got to think, though, that Tyrod gives them the best opportunity to win. And although I don't really think they have a shot, they are still competing for the AFC East.
Yeah, they are. They're still in the running, very much so. And thank you. The next 6 minutes, he's just informed me that Minding Freedom will be on shortly. He's wrapping up his game stream. So,
all right.
But yeah, not only was that a shock, though, but that defense is pretty solid. And to lay 47 points on them, that's no mean feat.
New Orleans has got it clicking.
Yeah, and the right time to do so. Yeah, they struggled in the early part of the season, but as everybody knows, it's how you finish out the season.
Yep.
So, all right. Next, looky here. Browns 24, Lions 38. Your boys kind of kept you in the running, at least with one team. And we'll get to the second part of that in a little bit. But
They allowed Cleveland to stay in it. And Cleveland even led for quite a bit of this game. I said last week that it is Stafford, it is Caldwell. They'll try to find some way to lose it. And they really didn't pull away until near the very end. Cleveland looked probably the best that they have all season. That kind of threw me off.
Yeah. By the way, hey, Minding. By the way, happy birthday, G. Bonner B.
Okay, for some reason I can't hear you guys.
Clean your ears out.
That I was late.
No problem. Stuff happens. Can you hear us yet? Hello?
Is this stream going to turn into a Verizon commercial?
Can you hear me now?
And happy birthday, bud.
Well, while he sorts that issue out, we'll just continue talking about it. So yeah, it was up to your boys to keep them winless, and at least they did do that in the end. I was keeping track of the score while I was watching the Colts game, and yeah, the Browns were very much in it. I kept thinking, oh Lord.
Yeah, they jumped out to a 10-0 start. Yeah, 10-0 lead, and I was like, oh, here we go. I still don't know how it would have felt had the Lions actually lost that game.
Let's see here. Yeah, 10-3 in the first quarter. Second quarter looks like, well, no, they made up for that in the third. Fourth quarter was the story, looks like. They held the Browns to 0 points, and they got 2 touchdowns, so...
That is where Detroit plays best, unfortunately. Which I guess that is the time that it matters.
Yeah. Let's see. Deshaun Kaiser looks like he had about a typical day for him. 21 of 37 for 232 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Did he sit down injured for a while? Because it's got another quarterback in here that went 1 for 3. Cody Kessler for 5 yards. Can you hear me still? Hello?
I'll take that as a no.
What? Oh, I can hear you now, but if you were talking before, I couldn't hear you.
I can't hear him.
Can you hear me, son?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay. And Mining's out in the chat wondering why you can't hear us. I don't know, buddy. I do not know. We can hear you. And he sounds like he's getting a little frustrated.
Don't break him, dude.
Okay. While he's sorting that, we'll go on here. All right. So next up, we have Bengals 20, Titans 24.
Actually turned out to be a pretty decent game.
Yeah, I was keeping track of the score while I was watching the Colts game. And I was a little shocked because it looked like it was a bit of a back and forth.
It was all the way down to like the last. I think Tennessee scored the go-ahead touchdown with like a minute left in the game.
Yeah. Yep, they took. Well, Titans took a 17-13 lead into the half. Nobody scored in the third, and they both scored in the fourth.
Yep,
So, yeah.
Cincinnati went down, scored to take the lead, and then very next possession, Tennessee went right back down the field, scored the winning touchdown.
All right, Minding. He's going to try to restart his laptop. I'm assuming you can't see chat still, so.
No, I can't.
Yeah. All right.
Andy Dalton looked better in this game than he has all season too.
Well, it's about daggum time. I mean, I'm no Andy Dalton fan. Never have been. I think he's pretty overrated, but he's a better quarterback than what he's been showing so far this season.
I mean, outside of AJ, though, he doesn't really have a whole lot to work with.
No. That is true.
The run game's not really been existent. The defense doesn't really help him.
And boy, that's been the story of so many teams this year. The no run game, that is.
Right.
All right. Oh, geez. I almost want to wait for this one. I think I'll skip the next one until Mining gets back. Let him crow a little bit. So skipping that one, we go to Chargers 17, Jaguars 20.
In overtime.
Yeah. Absolutely. Not surprised that the Jaguars won, even though they were at home, and we've discussed often they don't play well at home.
Yeah.
But the one thing I'm taking out, the Chargers are playing a little better ball than they've been playing. Yeah, they lost, but they hung in there.
For them, though, it was hard not to do better.
Yeah. Yeah, they started out pretty crummy.
The one thing that stood out to me, and I still never did get to see a highlight of it, but the alert I got on my phone when they won said that Jacksonville's field goal attempt was blocked, yet still somehow went through. Which has to be the epitome of the Chargers this year.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that.
You somehow block their game-winning field goal attempt, and it still goes through the uprights. I can't even picture how that happens.
You'd have to be like, oh man, what more do I got to do?
Yeah. Poor monkey.
Yeah, no kidding. It looked like they really hung in there, though. They, in fact, it could have easily been a Charger win. Looks like Jacksonville started out with 6 points. I don't know if it was 2 field goals or a missed extra point, but 6 points. And then from there, it was all Chargers. 7 points in the second, 7 points in the third, and they matched field goals in the fourth. So, yeah, could have went the other way.
Could have, but didn't.
Yep. All right. Next up, we have Vikings 38 at Redskins 30. And this one's a little bit of a shock. I think, didn't we all pick the Vikings on this one last week?
No, you and I picked the Redskins last week. Minding was the only one to pick the Vikings.
I can never remember.
I have them all written down here. It's not really a surprise that Minnesota won. What surprises me is how many points was put up in this game from those two offenses. Minnesota has not been spectacular at all. Washington has been even worse. And they both put up 30 plus. That's what surprises me about this game.
Right. We had Case Keenum, 21 of 29 for 304 yards, 4 touchdowns, but he had 2 interceptions in there. And on the Redskins side, get out of the way, pop up. You had Kirk Cousins, 26 of 45, 327 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So for the Redskins, it must have been... I see what happened. Kirk Cousins ran it in twice for a touchdown.
Yep. I was actually saying that, but I was muted.
Minding's back, but he says he's not talking, but he's also not hearing anything.
But we're obviously talking, so...
Yeah, and chat can hear us, or I think they'd said something by now. I don't know what's going on, Minding. Yeah. As he continues to work on the issue. Poor guy.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, well, this stream
is... You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Let me put that in the chat for him since he can't hear us. Okay. Poor guy. He's going crazy in the chat. Okay. So, anything else to talk about on that game? Are we done with that one?
Yeah, I think we're done with that one.
All right. Next, Steelers 20, Colts 17. And before we get into detail on this, I'm not real disappointed. Yes, it was a loss, but in my opinion, it's probably the best game the Colts have played all year. They played a decent football game. Not great, but decent. Just couldn't quite hold them off.
I was actually fairly impressed with the Colts in this one.
Yeah.
I don't know if you recall, but I did say I thought that the Steelers would win by 20 plus. And obviously, that was by far the case.
You're right. Exactly. Well, it was literally a last-second field goal that won the game. It was very close to going into overtime. It was all Colts for the first half. I mean, we started the game off with the first pass of the day we intercepted. Desir had a great game, and I was just impressed all the way around. Unfortunately, the Steelers went in at halftime, made some adjustments, come back out, and started scoring. So,
what stands out to me is, I'm not a big fan of Dante Moncrief.
Right.
That move he put on that DB on that touchdown was absolutely ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
That DB darn near bit the turf.
Yep. Yep. He went flopping, and I remember thinking when he made the catch, I said, "Well, somebody's been taking lessons from Ty." But yeah, he had a couple of good catches through that game. Ty was kind of silent, which is understandable. I mean, it just stands to reason if you're going to play the Colts, you're going to double cover Ty and try your best to shut him down.
You game plan against T.Y. Hilton.
Right. So it's not surprising when he has an off game. But the other receivers picked it up well enough. The defense, I thought, played way over their heads compared to what they've played all year. Yes, we lost the game, but I'm not mad at them. They, like I said, I really thought that this is probably the best game they've played all year.
When you have a defense as bad as the Colts and you hold Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, to Juju Schuster to just 17 points.
Yep.
Or 20 points was it, I guess. Pretty impressive.
Yep. I would have, of course, loved it a lot better if they had won, but, you take what you got. I don't have any aspirations to doing anything with this season anyway, so just seeing improvement is enough for me.
Right.
And Minding is still working on his issues. Now he says he can't hear us. I'm sorry, bud. Keep working on it. Let's see. I'm sure they're tired of hearing me talk about the Colts enough, so we'll go on to the next game. This one was a little bit of a shock, not in who won, but in the score differential. Texans 7, Rams 33.
Not at all a shock.
I thought the Texans would put up a little bit more than that. Not a great deal. I thought it would be not a close game, but more than one touchdown.
They're playing Tom Savage.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, if Deshaun was still in there and they put up 7 points, then I'd have been shocked. But Tom Savage against that really, really good Rams defense, I'm not at all surprised.
Yeah.
And Rams are looking like the front runner for their division. As odd as that is to say.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm going to tell you now, I think I said it last week, Rams are for real. They're playing excellent football this year.
On both sides of the ball.
And it's not often that you get a team that moves like they did from St. Louis to L.A. and comes back that very first season as strong as they have.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a change in venue can make a difference. I mean, it did for them the last time they moved, when they moved from LA to St. Louis. If anybody remembers the greatest show on turf, but
absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing to me what they've been able to do this year, and it's all the way around. It's not just this prolific offense, which they absolutely have a prolific offense, but they have a pretty decent defense. So
it's beyond decent. That defense is astounding, and they have probably the first time since the greatest show on turf the #1 scoring offense as of right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and what makes it even more amazing, and I don't mean to sound like I'm jumping on the Rams bandwagon. I'm not. I'm not a Rams fan. You know, I'm not. But you have to give credit where credit's due. What makes it even more amazing is they've got this young quarterback and a really young coach.
The whole team's young.
Yeah.
The quarterback's young, your coach is young, your running back's young. Their receivers are fairly young.
It's just, in my opinion, even if they don't go to the Super Bowl, I think the Rams has been the story of the year this year in the NFL, as far as the teams go.
If the Eagles have competition in the NFC, it's the Rams.
Yeah. I can absolutely agree with that. All right. I'm still trying to hold out on that other score to see if Minding gets his issues fixed.
Yeah, it's fine.
Next up, then, Giants 21, 49ers 31. So we are down to one winless team.
Yeah.
One winless team. I was really hoping, and if you remember, I picked the Giants. However, I did put a disclaimer on there that, you know, I think I put it something like, well, they've got to win one, another game, and this would be it. But it wasn't.
And it wasn't even as close as the score indicates.
No. Again, it was another case that I was keeping track of the scores in the scroller while I was watching the Colts game, and goodness, the Giants started out the first quarter with a small lead, 6-3. And then in the second quarter, San Francisco come back with 14 points to their 7 and never looked back. It just...
I don't really think San Fran is as bad as their record shows. Like, a lot of their games have been really close. They haven't played all that terrible. And they just come out and put a spanking on the Giants. And I did say last week, because you and Mining agreed on this, I was the oddball out. I was the only one to pick the 49ers. And I said, when you two agree, that usually means I'm right.
Yeah.
And that trend continued.
Well, I would absolutely agree with you that the 49ers probably aren't as bad as their record shows. I think they're at least as good as the Colts, which we've won a couple of games and come close to winning this last one. We're certainly not a great team, but we're bordering on mediocre. Bordering on, not quite there yet, but improving. But, geez, I really hated to see my boys, the G-men, lose that one, but I really thought that if either of those two teams did finally win a game, I figured it'd be the 49ers rather than the Cleveland Browns. So.
Cleveland will get there.
I haven't looked ahead to their schedule, but yeah, I have a suspicion that they'll probably pick at least one up. Maybe they'll get Smart and and sit Kaiser, but who knows? All right. Next up, Cowboys 7, Falcons 27.
This is my surprise of the week.
Yeah. I think we all picked Falcons on this game, all three of us.
No, we all picked Cowboys.
I mean, that's what I meant. Yeah, I said it backwards. I think we all picked Cowboys, and yeah. Bit of a shock.
Adrian Claiborne had 6 sacks in this game. One player, 6 sacks.
That's yeah, that's
I understand Dallas's offensive line is beat up.
Yep.
But still, they're pretty good. And to come in and just eat them up like that, like where has that been all season for Atlanta?
Yeah. So he had 6 sacks. There was 2 other players that had a sack, so they had 8 sacks in that game. You had Devondre Campbell that had 11 tackles and 2 assists. That's not shabby. So yeah, it looks to be a story, at least partially, of defense. Because Matt Ryan didn't have a bad day, but it sure wasn't a red letter day. It was 22 of 29 for 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Telvin Coleman exploded, 20 carries for 83 yards. He must have had a couple of really long ones there. And a touchdown.
Did you say 20 for 83?
Yeah.
That's not exploding.
Well, yeah.
I mean, 20 carries, you expect the running back to have 100 yards.
It's an average of 4.2, but excuse me. I can hear you. Can you hear us yet?
Finally, I can.
Oh, my
there
goodness.
he is. You had your volume turned out, didn't you?
No. I'm not that stupid. I mean, I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. Okay. No, I had a Chrome plugin that apparently interfered with Google Hangouts in some way, and this was the last thing I was. Yeah, I live. Next 6 minutes says in chat, I live. Yeah,
it's all that. It's all that fine German technology. That's what it is.
I don't know if Acer is a German company. I don't think so.
No, I think they're American.
See?
That's why even Americans buy Samsung and the like.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but you made it. You made it.
Yeah, and I wanted to say I apologize for being late.
No problem. Stuff happens, man.
I'm late all the time.
The problem is I completely miscalculated, misjudged. I wasn't thinking about that there was a stream tonight. I completely forgot that. So I had my own stream, and it was a good one. Just saying that.
That's good.
Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. A little bit of it was my fault too, because I was a little late creating the. I've been pretty busy today, so I was a little late in getting the live stream created and links set out. So,
I mean, even if you created the live stream maybe 1 hour before it started, I wouldn't have seen it because I was starting my stream. I think just what is it? 11 p.m. my time is 5 p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I started my stream. So yeah, I totally screwed that up.
It's all right. Just a heads up, though, since you weren't here at the beginning, I may have to end the stream early, like about 7:30 our time. The house full that J Kids usually has, I have. So
What? No clue about football?
Well, we have to. I may have to end it early because I might have to babysit come 7:30.
Okay,
30.
okay.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
sure, no
but
problem.
we'll see what happens. But anyway, I've been holding out. Let's see. Before we go there, did we finish talking about the Cowboys Falcons? Other
Yeah, I
than
don't
it
think,
was a great shock.
I don't think there's much more to talk about there. Unless you got something to add on, Mining.
No. Oh,
No, Minding, not you.
No.
All right.
so we've been saving this one for you to arrive because I figured you'd want to do some crowing. Packers 23, Bears 16.
I mean, can we just get this out of the way? It's a W. That's all nice and all, but it happened, and I don't know how.
Well, I recall Sunday, you sent me a direct message on Twitter, and you didn't sound very confident that they were going to win this.
I don't remember. I drank too much after that.
He wasn't confident. He picked the Bears last week.
Yep.
Yep. And I mean, if you look at the last few games before that, I had good reason to. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
So I was happy. Like that was I think the first game in I think 2 years that I listened to on the radio instead of watching it. And I gotta say, listening to football games on the radio is a different experience.
It is, yeah.
I wouldn't do it every game. I wouldn't do it every day, but every now and then. God, this is so great.
Yeah. Well, depending on the radio announcer, and we have a pretty good one here in Indianapolis, but
I mean,
depending on the radio announcer, it can be very suspenseful to listen to on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, Wayne Larrivee and Larry McCarron, the announcers for the Packers radio network, they're legends. Let's just say that they're legends. Larry McCarron, who is called Rock by pretty much everyone because I think he played center for the Packers for 8 years or so.
Could be. The name sure rings a bell in my head.
In the 90s or something. I think in the 90s. He played 162 consecutive games. Oh, sorry, in the 70s and 80s, 12 years for the Packers.
Well, see, that would have been in my heyday.
Yeah.
Long before you guys existed.
I mean, they both have experience like so much. I mean, he's the color commentator since 1995.
I actually was trying to find the Colts game online because I had to walk away from the TV for a little bit during the Colts game Sunday, but I couldn't get it to work. So crap. And of course I come back to the TV and Pittsburgh had scored a touchdown while I wasn't watching. Dadgummit.
Ouch.
But yeah, we held on to that one. Figured you might want to crow at least a little bit.
I mean, this game gave me at least some hope that we can make the playoffs. I mean, when you look at the Packers' schedule, that was basically what I was telling the whole time. If you look at the Packers' schedule, there are so many games the Packers could win even with Hundley. The Bears game was one of them, even though last week I didn't pick him. The Ravens game now coming up is another. We also play the Buccaneers and the Browns. And in week 15, Aaron Rodgers might be back. So that's a whole different story. So we can win 3 out of the next 4 if we beat the Ravens, Buccaneers, and Browns, which, 2 of them home games. The other game is the Browns. So that should be manageable. At the Steelers, fuck that. We take that L. We take it gladly. just no one injures himself, and everything's good. And then we got 3 games left: at Panthers, against the Vikings, at Lions. Probably, from what I saw, I mean, there was video this week with Aaron Rodgers, and like I'm hopeful. At this point, the Packers, who are 5-4, can go 11-5. Can, not will, can. I see them at 10-6. I think they might lose one game, maybe to the Panthers or Vikings. But every chance is there, and this basically was a crucial game. The other 2, Saints, Lions, nah. Ultimately, don't care.
Hang on.
Oh no.
So you thought I was going to go in defense of my Lions there for a second, didn't you? Yeah, that's not happening. You see the Saints? You see the Saints play this year? Your defense is terrible. The Saints are dropping like 40 plus a game.
Well, they dropped 26 against us. But what I was saying is the Saints game that we already had and lost, that doesn't matter too much. That's what I was saying.
I thought they were part of your future schedule.
No. We already played the Saints.
Okay, I got you.
So we already played them. We lost. Who cares? We played the Lions. We lost. Who cares? But the Bears, that was the one game. If we lose to the Bears, season's over. If we lose to the Bears, we're going to lose to the Ravens. We're probably going to lose to the Buccaneers. And it's going to be hard to play against the Browns. And that tells you everything you need to know.
How many more divisional games do you have left?
2. Week 16 and week 17.
Lions, Vikings.
We played out of the 7 games left. We're playing 3 out of conference. Everyone but the Bengals. 2 against the NFC South with the Buccaneers and the Panthers, and 2 in division.
There you go. Well, there might be life in yet.
Everything's possible at this point. The win against the Bears was the one we needed. Now Ravens seem beatable, Buccaneers seem very beatable, and the Cleveland Browns. I mean, come on. I don't have to say anything about the Browns.
The only winless team left in the league.
Unfortunately. And only because the G-Man couldn't find the G spot.
Oh, I know. We've already discussed that. We already discussed that. Okay. So I think where we left off when you got with us was we were ready for the Monday night game. Patriots 41, Broncos 16.
Isn't that the Sunday night game?
Oh, that's what I meant. I said Monday night, didn't I?
Yeah. I was like Monday night. I mean, Monday night had a similar score, but
yeah.
2 totally different teams.
Half my brain is listening to these grandkids of mine rampaging through the house.
The other half doesn't exist.
Yeah. You can't hear it, but I can, and it sounds like a herd of elephants running past my door about every 5 seconds.
That was the first time in my life I feel sorry for an old person.
As far as the game goes, though, you said this game was going to be interesting. I laughed at you. I was correct. It wasn't even as close as the score indicates again.
Well,
Denver defense looks bad.
Difference.
Yeah, and Denver scored like at the end of the game.
Didn't we all pretty much say it was going to be ugly, or did we? Last week,
you said it was going to be, or it could be interesting.
Yeah,
I only said, who did I pick, by the way?
you picked the Pats.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That was all I said. I said, okay, Pat's gonna win.
Yeah. And by the way,
I wasn't able to say more.
By the way, J-Kid has as bad a memory as I do, except when it comes to football. So that's why I depend on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, 41. Wow. Oh,
yeah, I'm not surprised.
The Broncos, the the oh so much touted Broncos defense.
Yeah, which hasn't showed up really, at least in the last, 3 or 4 games, maybe a little more.
Yep.
Tom Brady had a typical Tom Brady day, 25 of 34 for 266 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I mean, not everything about Tom Brady's day was typical. He only was sacked once. That's not your typical Brady.
No.
But everything else, yeah, pretty much. He also had a run for no gain.
Then Brian Hoyer come in 3 for 3 for 37. I'm guessing garbage time on that.
It
probably.
was. Yep.
Yeah.
Brock Osweiler, boy, can't even talk. 18 of 33 for 221 yards, a touchdown, and an interception.
I mean, what you would expect from Brock Lobster.
Yeah.
Kinda. I mean, you expect that from him, but you also expect the New England defense to play very poorly.
Well,
Yeah, but not against Osweiler. Come on.
defense didn't show up from what I'm looking at. I mean, I could go through some stats, but your top player was 7 tackles, 3 assists, no sacks. The only one that seemed to even play on the Denver side was Emmanuel Sanders, 6 receptions for 137 yards. No touchdowns.
Yeah. Have you seen the best pass of that game?
No.
It was an incompletion by Brock Osweiler, but someone in a blue jacket and with a blue hat was standing on the sideline, didn't expect anything, and the ball Brock Osweiler threw hit him right in the head.
Nice.
He expected nothing, and the ball just hit him right in the head. And not even just barely, like, spot on. That was the best throw Osweiler has made all season, probably in his whole career.
Which, for whatever reason, I don't know why, brings me back to the Colts games just real quick. Screw you, Steelers fans, for traveling so well. Oh my gosh. The stadium was half full of the terrible towel.
Oh, God.
Well, you didn't think Colts fans were going to show up, did you?
Yeah, but we're not really that close to Pittsburgh. You know, it's 2 states away.
Well, 2 states away in the U.S. doesn't mean shit, does it?
No, not really.
Well, we're used to traveling.
That's like 2 German states over, and that doesn't mean a lot either.
But oh my goodness. But yeah, would like to see
It was
that.
so bad for Denver, they even gave up a special teams touchdown. That's how bad this game was for them.
Yeah,
103-yard kick return.
Dion Lewis?
Yep.
Yeah. 1 kick return, and it was for a touchdown. Wait, 1 special teams return by the Patriots, and it was for a touchdown.
Now, is it just me, or have I seen a heck of a lot of great special teams play this year? More than I'm used to seeing.
Oh, I wanted to talk about something, Bloodwing. I told you before, and since we're talking about special teams, I think it's the perfect time.
Go ahead.
I told you in the DMs that I want to talk about kickoffs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because I made the kickoffs joke.
Yeah. Just abolish the kickoff. Just get rid of it, please. It's boring. It's basically it's also unfair. It's even if you manage to score on a kick return, all you get is 6 points. But the chances are so unlikely. I think 1 or 2% around that.
Right.
So the reward is in no relation to the risk or to the chances. And most kickoffs end between the 20 and the 30 anyway. So who cares? Just get rid of it.
Well,
And I also have an idea, and I'm not the first one to come up with this, but I saw that and I thought that was a great idea. Not just to have like every team starting at the 25, which is the touchback, as we know, with a 1st and 10. No. Have them start at, I don't know, have them start at the 30 or 35 with a 4th and 15. That way, they can either choose to, punt the ball away. Punt returns are way more exciting than kick returns. If you take a look at some of the greatest punt returns and all the directional changes, God, this is like you got to make 11 guys miss. If you're on a kick return, you just run downhill. That's boring. But the punt return, that needs some skill because 11 men are running right at you from the line of scrimmage.
It's and it's not that I certainly don't disagree with you that the kickoff has gotten to be boring because there's so many touchbacks and so forth anymore. But
it always was boring.
No, I disagree. You may not be old enough to remember, but before they changed the kickoff rules, it was one of the most exciting parts of the game because you didn't know what might happen. Before they moved the kickoff line, there were very few kickbacks. In fact, it was very seldom that a ball would make it into the end zone at all. And it was, and I understand why they did it. Because a lot of people were getting hurt. There were tons of injuries on kickoffs, tons. So that's why they changed it.
And there still are. The kickoff still to this day is the most dangerous play in terms of injuries.
But yeah, the rule changes has made the kickoff almost unnecessary. Why even kick it? Just give them the ball on the 20. That's what's going to happen 70% of the time.
Yeah, pretty much 75, 80%. That's the data. Yeah. And funny enough, if you take a look at the points, someone made the data set and took a look at it. If you take a look at the expected points, in in relation to the starting field position, it's not consistent. You have a better chance of scoring points starting from in between the in between the 30 and the 40, your own 30 and 40.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have starting between your own 40 and your own 45. The expected points over the last, I think 15 years are actually higher if you start in your own 30s than between the 40 and the 45, which is like completely against any intuition whatsoever. But apparently that's the way it is. And this is very paradox. Just get rid of the kickoff altogether. And you said it, just give him the ball at the 20. I don't think that's a good idea. I like there should be some challenge. Give him the ball at the, like I said, 30 or 35 with a 4th and 15 or 4th and 12 or 4th and 10. Something that's difficult, but, if you make it, good for you. The really high risk, high reward.
So you have just a game full of punts?
No, the other team can then return the punt.
So you have a game just full of punts and punt returns. This is by far the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life.
No, wait. No, after the punt return, the team gets a 1st and 10. Wherever they return the ball to.
Yeah, still don't like it. You don't start with a fourth down.
My
It's
biggest
ridiculous.
complaint would be is that the other team, after a score, which is when you get most of your kicks, except at the beginning of a half, after a score, the other team has to have a fair chance to at least get something rolling. So to start them if I'm understanding what you're saying, to start them on a fourth down, no.
Absurd.
I mean, a fourth and I think a fourth and 15 has a chance of more than 20% of conversion.
If you're Jacksonville.
If you're Jacksonville, you've got 100% chance.
I agree that there needs to be changes on the kickoff. It certainly does, because it has gotten boring. It really has. However, I'm not sure that that's quite the answer.
It either needs to go back to what it was, or it just needs to go away. One of the two.
Yeah.
What about if the team that just scored gets the ball at 4th and 15 and can either punt or try to keep the ball somehow?
If you're gonna do that, I would rather just see him do just instead of doing a kickoff, just punt the ball. And that's going to be more exciting, because obviously with a punt,
that is the thing is, if you just say instead of a kickoff, just let him punt. The problem is there's one exciting element about the kickoff, and that's the onside kick. That's the only exciting situation. At least in my mind. You can disagree, but to me, kickoffs are boring. The only time there is really some excitement in the air is when you have the onside kick.
Yeah.
And then everyone's looking like, oh, can they recover? We all know that the chances to recover I think in the fourth quarter are about 5%. If the other team is expecting it, 19 out of 20 times, you don't recover the onside kick. But it's that one time we wait for.
Yeah. I would personally, and it will probably never happen, but I'd personally rather see them move it back to where it was before. That was exciting. But it probably will never happen because of all the safety rules and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just have injured players left, right, and center. You can't do that.
The whole game of football is about running full speed at each other and hitting each other. There's nothing different between the kickoff and every other facet of the football game.
The speed is higher, and you also got to remember in terms of injuries, actually all this more touchbacks and everything doesn't help a lot, by the way, because the players who are in the kick coverage or in the return coverage, they don't know that their return guy is taking the knee in the end zone. They have to cover, and this is where the injuries happen. I mean, it has happened before that there were injuries on a touchback. So,
I'm sure, but the way that it was before, one of the reasons they were, or at least their reasoning, one of the reasons they were getting so many injuries, because you had guys running 70 yards full speed and hitting the returner, and yeah. People were getting smashed. Do yourself a favor, Mining. Look up some, and I'll guarantee you can find them. Some old NFL returns from the 70s and 80s. I'm not sure when they made the change.
I have seen some. Believe me, I'm watching I'm probably watching football content, NFL content, pretty much daily.
But it's
trying to find some YouTube videos and all.
It used to be, in those days, it really was one of the most exciting parts of the games, because you just had no idea what was going to happen. Bodies were flying, flipping
Yeah.
over everywhere. It was great. But
yeah, because that's what you want. Buddies flying and heads flying off and helmets and
well, sure.
people
Isn't that why
being
we watch football? If that's not what we wanted, we'd watch soccer.
Hey,
I mean-
why minding? You're talking to Americans here. Why do you think that we watch NASCAR? The only reason to watch all these cars go 200 miles an hour
I know.
is to watch for the crashes.
I know. You're always waiting for the big one. Yeah. I'm watching all of motorsports basically for the crashes, like even Formula One. But there's a different like the best outcome we want is a lot of crashes, a lot of carnage, but no injuries, or as few injuries as possible. Let's just say you can never take injuries out of the game fully, and we got to understand that. Obviously,
G.
it's not possible.
G. Bronner brings up a point that I've thought for a long time. If they went back to the leather helmets, it might solve the concussion issues because these idiots aren't going to go flying at full speed with their head down if they only got a leather helmet on.
Yeah,
have you seen most of these people?
Well, that's true too. They're not the brightest bunch.
I mean, someone like Marshawn Lynch has got nothing to lose.
Nope.
Really, not. Like the only brain cell that's working there, like he could spare that one too.
All right,
but
well, go ahead.
The leather helmets. Going back to the leather helmets, actually is interesting. If you consider a similar, very similar sport without the helmets, rugby, way less concussion issues, way less, and they don't even have leather helmets. They have no helmets. Their heads are bare naked, and they have less. They do have concussion issues. Yeah, okay, sure, but not as much as the NFL.
A lot of ears ripped off, but you know that's another matter.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother matter. Anyway,
don't do that.
let's move on.
Yeah, please.
To the Monday night game, Dolphins 21, Panthers 45.
Oh, and what a beautiful game it was. I didn't watch it, but I was going into the or let's say I was taking a look at my fantasy teams on Monday before the game, and I was like, I basically need a miracle here. I need Cam Newton to play well. I need McCaffrey to score a touchdown, or please more, and I also need Jarvis Landry to score a touchdown. Now, if we look,
you got all that.
I got all of it. Cam Newton, 4 touchdowns, 95 rushing yards. Guy played out of his mind. McCaffrey, I mean, he only got 50 yards. He also got 2 touchdowns. And Jarvis Landry in garbage time, 4 minutes left in the game, at the score of 14-45. Scored a touchdown, 42 yards overall, and a touchdown in this game for him. It went good for me. I won both my matchups.
Jonathan Stewart had a good game too. It was like the all-around return of the run game for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I mean where did that run game for the Panthers come from all of a sudden?
Yeah, I don't know.
294 rushing yards. Okay, let's take off the 95 of Newton. We still got 199 rushing yards from your running backs?
From a team that was averaging like 1 yard?
Yeah.
And it was, with the exception of Derek Anderson, it was an all-around effort too. You had Stewart with 110, Newton with 95. I mean, Cameron Artis-Payne was 68, Christian McCaffrey 23.
I mean, Derek Anderson is the second quarterback of the team. I don't know why he didn't throw the ball a single time. Oh, it was he knelt down. He knelt down twice. So let's exclude those two because he knelt victory formation. Who cares? That doesn't go into that shouldn't go into the stats. So all the running backs. I mean, wow.
This is the game I waited for because now it's my turn to go on a rant.
Gourd head.
I mean, you know me and my likes and dislikes about football. What is one of my biggest pet peeves about football? And I'll narrow it down by telling you it was also one of the biggest reasons I was such a Barry Sanders fan.
The Lions suck?
No. Celebrations.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I hate celebrations.
Not big on them either.
Here's my biggest issue with celebrations at this moment. You're down 31-7 as the Miami Dolphins in this game. You score a touchdown.
And you celebrate.
And you celebrate. What are you celebrating? You get paid millions upon millions of dollars playing football. Athlete. And you're celebrating getting whipped by 27 points.
I mean, to be fair, it's a team sport. The one guy scoring a 66-yard rushing touchdown, he's not responsible for his defense playing shit.
You're still losing by 31-7.
Yeah. I see the point. But
and I know how he thinks, and we've had this discussion, he and I, while we're watching football together. Neither one of us are fans of celebration. You want to give a fist bump or something like that, or pump your fist, or a big yes or something. Okay, fine. But these elaborate celebrations they're coming up with now in the end zone is just like the next 6 minutes said, act like you've been there before.
That was going to be my next line.
Yeah. Act like you've been there before. And that's one of the reasons our J-Kids and I's favorite Colts receivers, Marvin Harrison, quiet as a mouse. Never celebrated.
But
his entire career here, I remember one time he celebrated and he just spiked the ball.
Yep.
Can I just what if you've not been there before? To give you an example, I'm 100% sure you talked about the game earlier. Redskins Vikings.
Yeah.
Or Vikings Redskins, whoever was the home team, I don't care. What was this kid's name? Maurice Harris, I think. With a beautiful catch, his first ever catch in the NFL for like a 50-yard touchdown, one-handed on the sideline, everything. Like I've never seen that before. From a guy who had his first catch in the league.
Well, like I said, I get it. I get it. If you want to spike the ball or pump a fist or point at the crowd, fine. But we're seeing these elaborate things like games of hide and seek and bench presses and crap out in the end zone. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, even more so when you're getting run out of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I do see that. I still think give at least that one guy some cut at least this one guy some slack. He's not responsible for his defense playing shit and allowing 31 points in the first half and 5 minutes.
I'm not saying go ahead.
We're to the point now, though, and this is my point, and they'll even admit it. I seen them talking on just this last Sunday on the pregame show. They will actually get together and plan out 2-3 different celebration things in advance, the players, so they know what they're going to do in the end zone when they score. That's silly.
I mean,
you're adults, so act like it.
Yeah.
You're gonna crucify me for this.
Probably.
Have you seen soccer celebration?
Minding.
Yeah, because we
We're
watch soccer.
Americans. How much do I have to keep telling you we're Americans? Of course we don't watch soccer.
Some soccer celebrations are really some of the greatest celebrations I've ever seen. And granted, the best soccer celebrations come after like really important goals, like late in the game, the equalizer or the winner, and like maybe just 1 minute to play, or 2 or 3 or 5 minutes. I think it's a 90-minute game, so 5 minutes to play, and but I'm totally okay with celebrations if they fit the occasion, let's say. I to a certain extent, not fully, but to a certain extent, I agree that, you know, if you're down by at least 2 touchdowns, you know, keep it cool. Just hand the ref the ball, or fuck, maybe spike it or whatever, but don't go too hard on it, okay? But if you're like, I don't know, scoring late in the game or something to win the game, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. The more elaborate, the better.
Let's move ahead, because like I said, I might have to end this stream early. So,
oh yeah,
just in case I do, let's give ourselves some room. So that brings us to the Thursday night game: Titans 17, Steelers 40. And the only feeling I got off of this is it makes me feel less bad that my Colts only lost by 3 to the Steelers.
That tells me Pittsburgh was looking ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the Colts. No big deal. Let's go ahead and game plan for the Titans.
I mean, I watched the first half. Oh, sorry. And I was going to bed right at halftime. 16-7. I was like, oh, it's an interesting game. I mean, the Steelers got at least into field goal range 4 times. One of those they scored a touchdown. The other 3 times they scored a field goal. Chris Boswell being the busiest man in the game.
Hey, keep discussing. I've got to run away from the mic for just a couple of minutes. I'll be right back.
All right. And then I went to bed, and next morning I wake up taking a look. Who won that game? Grabbing my phone that's next to my bed, tapping and swiping, opening the NFL app. 17-40. How did that happen?
It felt to me like Tennessee forgot they played Thursday night. Like they scrambled to get ready and then just fell apart after halftime. Like they stayed up all night the night before.
To me, it looks like they forgot to play. Not they forgot that it's Thursday night or something. They completely, they were like, "What are we doing here? What is this? Why are the lights so bright? What? How? Where are we?" That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah. I mean, they looked okay in the first half and then just fell apart.
Yeah.
And something still tells me that Mariota's still hurt.
Yeah.
Because I'm not really on the bandwagon of Mariota, but even for him to throw 4 interceptions, that's a little out of character.
Little? I mean...
And you can't really give the defense the credit either, because they haven't been playing well.
Yeah, that's true. The only thing that pissed me off was that Antonio Brown pretty much snatched all the touchdowns.
He did. He had like 4 of them, right?
3.
3 of them. Yep.
But I needed, first off, let's talk about fantasy again. I needed Ryan Suckup to play well. I needed Le'Veon Bell to play well, and I needed Rashard Matthews to play shit. Yeah, Rashard Matthews got 113 yards and a touchdown. Thank you very much. like the Titans defense can't do shit, but Matthews goes for 113 and a touchdown.
Yep.
And Bell, I mean, hey, he got 103 all-purpose yards. That's good and all. Not a touchdown. And 10.3 points is not what you expect from Le'Veon Bell. You expect more. But Antonio Brown was snatching all the touchdowns. Damn it. That really pissed me. And Suckup, I mean, yeah, he scored a 44-yard field goal and 2 extra points. Yeah, great. 5 points. Yay.
And if we didn't know it before, we definitely do now. This is Jacksonville's division to lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
As weird as that is to say.
Mariota playing that bad, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to agree. It is odd to say the Jaguars are the top team in the division, but you can't deny reality.
I mean, for once, everything comes together for them. Mariota is hurt. Watson is injured, out for the season. Like the Texans find themselves a quarterback they can win the division with.
Luck is hurt. Goes down. Luck is hurt.
Luck didn't play all season. I mean, it's the one season where Brock Osweiler, damn it, with Blake Bortles. I mean, they're equally bad, but
yeah.
Yeah,
where Blake Bortles could be the best quarterback in the division, at least of those that are playing and how they're playing.
But it's not like it's just being handed to them either. They're going out there, they're playing really, really good football.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the defense, yeah.
And earning it in a season that they really don't have to earn it.
Yep. And let's go ahead and I may not have to. I was just went out checking with people. There, just a heads up of what's going on. 7 of my soon-to-be 10 grandkids are here in my house.
Oh God!
So they're getting ready to take some of them home, and I'm only, but they're going to take some of the others with them. Anyway, I'll be only left with 2 boys that are pretty quiet when it's just them on their own. So we might be all right. We'll see what happens. Okay, was that all the discussion we had on that? Didn't mean to cut in.
Yep.
All right. Well, that brings us to our picks for next week.
Just before we move on here, last week I went 11-3. Minding went 11-3. Old man went 9-5.
Ouch. Ouch.
I mean, I can't prove that because I lost my laptop and I didn't find the time to check that. But I trust you for the time being. I'm gonna check after the stream.
Go for it.
Is it too early for me to say then now playoffs?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And first up, speaking of the Jaguars at the Browns.
0-10.
Jaguars.
Yeah, 0-10.
I don't disagree, but this has all the indications of a trap game.
True. I get what you're saying. I mean, after the way they've been playing and the games they've had, and then they come in and meet the luckless Browns.
And Cleveland played pretty well last week.
Yeah, but you know what Cleveland does after playing well? Playing shit again.
That's true. They still do have Deshaun Kaiser.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm picking the Jags, but I wouldn't be too surprised to see Cleveland win.
That's wishful thinking from you. They're going 0-16.
They could, but they still have the Bengals yet this season too. So.
All right. Next, Buccaneers at Dolphins.
The what should have been week 1 game.
Yeah.
Gee, many Christmas. This was a hard one.
If I don't know, like Jay Cutler is under center for the Dolphins. That tells me all I need to know.
Yeah, but
And
Fitzpatrick is
you
under
can-
center for the Bucks.
Yeah, but there's a reason he's called Fitz Magic.
There's also
Because he won some games in Buffalo.
Yeah, there's also a reason
Yeah.
he's no longer with the teams as he's been with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at how Fitzpatrick has been playing so far with the Buccaneers, he wasn't that bad.
I'm going to go with Miami, and for no other reason, I'll admit it, just because it's a home game.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bucks. I don't have a whole lot of faith in their defense, but their defense is better than Miami's defense.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Tampa Bay.
All right. Ravens at Packers.
I mean, this was basically completely dependent on how last week went. And Packers won, so Packers are going to win.
I'm going to pick the Packers. It wasn't an easy decision, but yeah, I'm going to go with the Pack.
I was hoping you was going to pick the Packers because I'm taking the Ravens.
He loves to pick against the both of us.
When you two agree and I'm the odd man out, I'm typically right.
I don't think so. I think we've had a few occasions this season where that wasn't the case.
I said typically, not every time.
I think we had more occasions where that wasn't the case than where it was. I'm gonna check, but next week I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Don't ask
All right.
me. I don't even remember what color underwear I'm wearing. So,
I mean,
Or
it's
if he's
good
even
that
wearing
you
any.
do wear underwear, okay?
am I? Let me check. All right. Next up, Lions at Bears. Lions.
Obviously, well, I guess it's not really all that obvious because usually when I pick the Lions, they lose. But I'm taking the Lions.
That's why I'm going with the Bears.
We've got some contention this week. Yeah.
I think the Bears, even though they lost to us, I think they didn't look too shabby. I think Mitch Trubisky could pretty much have his breakout game against that non-existent pass defense.
Yeah, because Green Bay's is outstanding.
Still better than yours.
Yeah.
Yes, and you know it.
Yeah. I don't know that it's a defense.
But yeah, I'm gonna pick the Bears.
All right. Next, Rams at Vikings.
Game of the week, maybe.
I'm not picking against the Rams. I mean, I could be wrong, certainly, but no, I'm not picking against the Rams.
This will ultimately come down to Jared Goff against or Jared Goff and his O-line against that defense.
Yep.
And when I look at that defense, I don't see Goff escaping them. So I'm gonna pick the Vikings.
I'm taking the Vikings too.
I would love to see them lose because that would keep the NFC North in contention, but
I'm taking the Vikings too. And the thing that interests me here is it's Jared Goff facing off against the quarterback he replaced in Case Keenum.
oh yeah.
That's true.
That's interesting to me.
That is true.
I mean, Goff will have the better game, but I mean,
Maybe he's playing the better defense. Well, I don't know. Maybe not.
it's Case Keenum. Come on.
This game is so even all the way around except for the quarterback play.
Yeah. Well,
If
when I jumped so quick to say that I'm not picking against the Rams, it didn't mean that I thought it was going to be a blowout or one-sided affair.
Right.
It's, It's just that my deciding factor was, yeah. I have a little more belief in the Rams than I do in the Vikings. Just a little.
You stand alone on this one.
Yeah.
The two NFC North guys picking the Vikings.
Well, if you've been paying attention so far, this is going to be one of the more interesting weeks for our picks because we're all picking all over the place.
Yep.
Usually we're picking a lot of them together.
Oh, I'm pretty sure there's going to be one game where we're all picking the same.
Oh, I'm sure. All right. Did everybody pick there? Yeah, they did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cardinals at Texans.
Yeah, that's not the one. I'm picking the Texans. Home field, and I really don't like the Cardinals. I know the Texans without Deshaun Watson are pretty bad, but Cardinals to me look like one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah. I really wish this game was with the Texans' young quarterback that got hurt. I can never remember his name.
That would be a blowout.
I really wish it was, but it's not, so it's a much closer pick. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Texans. I don't know what their home field advantage is like, but Texans.
I'm standing alone on this one. I'm taking Arizona. I mean, Houston's still playing Tom Savage. The Arizona defense is decent. Really, the only thing that Arizona has against them, the only thing Arizona has against them right now is they're playing Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, which tells you everything you need to know.
I still think they win on the back of Adrian Peterson.
Come on. No. Not against that defense. Come on.
The defense is on IR. He has been like the entire season.
JJ Watt isn't the whole defense.
He is the entire defense.
They are a completely different defense without JJ on the field.
They are worse, obviously, when you lose your best player, but he's not their only good player. Come on.
How'd the Texans do last week?
I don't know from the top of my head. Really, I really don't know from the top of my head.
Better question, how did they do the week before?
Well, the last 2 weeks.
Don't ask me that many questions I can't answer, okay?
In one of those weeks, minding, my Colts beat them. So that just tells the story right there.
And last week they got whipped.
Yeah, by the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
By the high power offense of the Rams. That can happen. That can happen to anyone.
On that defense, though.
See, that's one of my pet peeves. When people take outliers as the rule.
Dude, their defense has been bad all season. With the exception of week 1.
Yeah, whatever. Next.
Okay, next. Chiefs at Giants.
That's the one we're all picking the same. I'm pretty sure.
As much as I'd love to pick my G-men, no, I'm not that stupid.
Yeah,
probably
Chiefs.
The worst team in the league.
Yeah.
I think the Browns would beat the Giants.
I would apologize to Courtney if he was in the chat, but I don't think he's there today. So.
The Browns would beat the Giants if the game was at Cleveland.
I think either way.
No. In New York, the Giants would still win closely, but they would win.
They lost to the Niners, but the Niners is a better team than the Cleveland.
Yeah,
Browns,
exactly. I see the Giants being the worst team together with the Browns, so that the home field advantage would decide who wins. The 49ers are slightly above that.
Yeah, but in this week, not a chance, and you know where.
Nope.
Yeah. Next, Redskins at the Saints.
8 in a row.
Yeah. Redskins gave up 38 to Minnesota. New Orleans has a far better offense.
Yeah. Saints. Yeah. Okay. That's one we're all in agreement on as well. Look at that. Bills at Chargers.
I need your guys' opinion on this one. How good is the Chargers defense?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Like, it's going to be basically the run game for Buffalo. How good is San Diego against the run game? I'm not really sure.
My question was going into a different direction. Let me take a look. I think the Panthers have their bye week, which means my only quarterback in one of my fantasy teams is on a bye. Which means I had to get it's a 16-team league.
Oh, no, you picked up Philip Rivers.
No, Rivers was taken. I picked up Nathan Peterman. Because he was available. He was one of the few players available. How much can Peterman do against the Chargers defense? How fucked am I?
I think Buffalo's going to rely heavy on McCoy.
Yeah.
Obviously, but come on. Give me some hope.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. I can't give you any hope. I think the Chargers win this one.
Yeah.
McCoy can catch a few passes out of the backfield, can't he?
He can.
He's not bad at that.
No.
I mean, that would be totally okay for me if just, a swing pass here, a screen there, that's yards for Peterman. I don't care. Give me that all day.
I'm going to have to go Chargers, though, on this one. I mean, it's really not an incredibly... It's not like picking the Chiefs-Giants game. But, yeah, I'm going to have to go Chargers on this one.
Actually, it's exactly picking the Chiefs-Giants game. I'm picking the Chargers as well, even though I want Peterman to be good. But I'm using some how can I say that, some mathematical analysis.
Well, here's my analysis. The Bills in this second, we're in the second half of the season. The Bills have been going downhill in the second half. Chargers have been playing better ball in the second half, so they're going the right direction right now.
What I wanted to say, you interrupted me.
Well,
you meant
you talk so much.
I pulled an SDA. I know.
Yes. What I wanted to say is I'm using some mathematical analysis, not 100%. I'm going off of it for one game or the other. But the win probability for the Chargers and for the Chiefs in this week is exactly the same. Like to a 1/10% the same. That's why I was saying it's the same if you pick the Chargers against the Bills or you pick the Chiefs against the Giants.
It doesn't seem right.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said that doesn't seem right.
But the Chargers do have the home field advantage. The Chiefs do not.
I mean, is it really an advantage when your stadium can see like 15 people?
We're talking about that again.
And it's a soccer stadium, for Pete's sake. You can still see the lines of the soccer field.
I don't even care that it's a soccer stadium. It's just, is that really considered an advantage?
Jacob, have you picked?
Yeah. Yeah, I picked the Chargers.
Okay.
All right. So we all picked the Chargers there then.
I don't want to talk about the soccer stadium again. We did that at least 2 times in this season. Let's just go on.
Bengals at Broncos.
How did the Broncos end up at 3-6? Holy crap. I didn't expect that, but they're gonna rebound a little. They're gonna win against the Bengals. Mile High is tough to play.
I agree. I think Denver bounces back.
Yeah, after the beating they took. Yeah, Broncos. All right. Patriots at Raiders. If
Is it really at Raiders? This is the Mexico City game, yeah?
I think you're right. Yep.
It is, yeah.
If you'd have asked me to pick this game in week 1 or week 2, it'd have been harder for me to pick. But like with the Bills Chargers, the Patriots are going the right direction. Raiders, not so much. So I'm going to pick the Pats, as much as I hate picking the Pats.
Look, in week 1, week 2, I would have picked the Pats just as easy as now.
Yep, I agree.
In week 4 or 5, or let's say, yeah, week 3, week 4 or so, when they had their defensive struggles, I might have gone with the Raiders, but yeah, the Patriots rebounded, and is that the correct term?
Mm-hmm.
Rebounded?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounded wrong, but okay. And they're 7-2 now. They're back to being the old Patriots. The only problem they have is they can't stop the run game for shit. Like I think they had no game this season where they allowed under 70 rushing yards at least. And they allowed over 100 in 6 of 9 games. So they can't really stop the run.
Talking about the Pats?
Yeah. Pats defense. But Marshawn Lynch is probably gonna score some yards and maybe score a touchdown. But that's not gonna be enough. I mean, on the other side, you got Tom Brady. He's gonna light up your defense like you've never seen before. So yeah, no, Patriots easy.
Yeah, at no point during this season would I have ever picked the Raiders, because at no point during the season have the Raiders had a secondary. And Brady's just going to come in throwing the ball, and they have no home field advantage. Chances are the advantage is going to be in New England. So,
I mean, Raiders, Oakland, California, a lot of Hispanics, Mexico. I think it's some advantage for them.
Maybe the NFL has gained some popularity in Mexico. At least the part of Mexico that's near the border. So,
that's my thought on it, though. It's a lot of new popularity.
Yeah,
a lot of new popularity is going to bring fans of the teams that do really well, which leads me to believe that the advantage is actually going to be for New England.
You could be right there.
I mean, we'll see. We see with the London games that no team has any advantage apart from
unless
the
you're Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
who just send them over there permanently, please. Or over here rather for me.
Yeah, do it now while they're winning.
Yeah, please.
Now's the time.
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't become a fan of them, but you want to see a team, the only team from Europe, you want to see them win,
Right.
But yeah, let's go on. We all got the Pats in this one.
It brings us to the Sunday night game, Eagles at Cowboys.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one everyone's waiting for this week, huh?
Yeah, I don't see the Eagles losing this one.
No, I don't either.
Not a chance.
Monday night, Falcons at Seahawks.
Like, I'm gonna make this simple. If you two pick the same team, I'm gonna pick against you.
Yes, the Seahawks have had their struggles, But if there's a team, there's a couple of teams, Chiefs being one, and I think Seahawks being another, that has a huge home field advantage. So yeah, I'm going Seahawks.
That's the only thing Seattle has going for them.
Yeah.
They've lost their entire defense.
Yep.
I'm taking Atlanta.
Oh shit.
Where do you go, Minding?
Look, I'm still under the impression that more times than not, when J Kid picked differently than Bloodwing and me, he was the one who didn't win or who wasn't right. I'm under that impression, so I'm gonna stick with Bloodwing. I'm gonna say the Seahawks.
Okay. Now this week, coming week, is a little different in that we have three Thursday night games. So we got three.
No.
We had that last week. Just 2 of them were on Sunday.
Yeah. And the first one up is Vikings at Lions. J Kid, this is your pick first.
Oh, this is Thanksgiving, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, obviously, if 3 games are on Thursday, it's obviously Thanksgiving.
You'd think working retail that I would know this coming Thursday was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
No, Lions on Thanksgiving? No, thank you. I'm taking Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm going to take Minnesota. And it wasn't an easy pick for me, but he does have a point. The Lions don't have a real good record on their Thanksgiving games, and they play every year, same as the Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
The thing is, at some points, the Vikings need to lose. Otherwise, they're going to win the division, and I don't want to see that. Because that would lower the chances for the Packers to win a playoff spot. The problem is, I don't think that's going to be the game. Am I going against my gut and still pick the Lions or oh, fuck? Nah, I'm going to pick the Vikings. I don't care.
All right.
If the Lions are going to surprise me, good for them. But yeah, no, I'm picking the Vikings.
And as I already alluded to, the next game is the Cowboys game, Chargers at Cowboys.
If my predictions are correct, and most of the time, let's be honest, they are. I got a positive record, so what I just said is true. The Chargers are winning and the Cowboys are losing in the week before, like this week, tomorrow, basically. So the Cowboys are coming off a loss. The Chargers are coming off a win. Plus, it's an in-division loss for the Cowboys. So I think they're gonna lose another one. Chargers are gonna win this.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm taking Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas.
Okay, now I'm picking against the two of you. And if I remember correctly, that always works out. Or not always, but most of the time works out pretty well.
We'll see. We'll see. And lastly, oh Lord, Giants at Redskins.
1-10.
Yeah, afraid you're right. Redskins.
Yep.
If you can't tell, I've lost all faith in my G-men. Sorry, they have not showed me any reason not to at this point in time. And yeah, that's all the picks.
At this point, the only hope you have for the Giants is they fire McAdoo at the end of the season.
And I think they will. I honestly do. I think they will.
I don't know what to say about Ben McAdoo. I mean, I do like the guy, not as a head coach, as a person, you know, as a former Packer. He did coach the Packers for quite not as a head coach, but tight ends and quarterbacks.
Yeah, you gave us his life story before.
Yeah. Shut up. But he's really not a good head coach.
That's the problem. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I'm saying he's not a good head coach.
Right. Yeah. And he wouldn't be the first person to be a good coach, but not a good head coach. You know. But
yeah, pretty much.
I think he's gone. I mean, you know, nice guy and all that, but nice guy doesn't cut it.
Do you ever think he'd see a time when the Giants regretted getting rid of Coughlin?
I think they already do.
at the time that they got rid of Coughlin, no, I didn't think so. I thought that was the move to make, but yeah. Maybe we can unretire the tuna?
His track record at the end of his career wasn't that great either.
No. Okay, well, that's the last of our picks. Anybody else got anything?
Let me think.
Has the chat just been quiet because you haven't referenced them at all?
They next 6 minutes has been picking along with us all the way down the line, but other than that, it's been kind of quiet the last couple of minutes.
Oh yeah, two more. Just to mess with both of you. Two more. Two more coaches who are good coaches but not good head coaches. Jim Caldwell and Chuck Pagano.
Well, yeah.
Even Pagano, Chuck knows.
Yeah, even Chuck knows he's gone at the end of the year. He knows that. Caldwell
Jim was never a good coach.
No. Nice guy, yes. Super nice guy, but not a good head
He's
coach.
An idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't he quarterback coach
with Peyton?
Yeah. How much coaching is there really when your quarterback is Peyton Manning? Let's be honest.
Okay, yeah.
The Colts didn't even need an offensive coordinator with Peyton.
No.
Yeah.
But and they really didn't, because exactly what they did was, and they admitted it, they just turned the field over to Peyton. Yeah, they shot him in a couple of plays. Said, you pick. But, all right. So we're at the end of it. Before we go, I do want to point out that there's a chance I may be on a live. I've been invited to a live stream tomorrow on Thorn of Spite's channel, which is more a horror channel. So if that happens, I'll let you know on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, you might see a different side of old Bloodwing than what you normally see. But they are ill, so you might have to go on to the next week. But anyway, real soon we'll be doing that.
Wait, on that stream, are you gonna show the Bloodwing who actually knows a thing or two about football?
No, we're not going to be discussing football. We're going to be discussing the time I actually met a serial killer for real online. So
holy shit! Okay.
Yeah. So.
That took a turn you weren't expecting.
I'm sure J-Kid's heard this story, but yeah, that's what.
If ever there was a time that escalated quickly, fit into a conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, look for that. Minding, you got anything going on here real soon?
Yeah, I'm joining. I think on whose the next 6 minutes gonna help me out in the chat on whose channel is it gonna be tomorrow? I think is it on Six's channel or where is it?
I don't know.
I'm gonna yeah
He's
I'm
telling
gonna
you to look at Discord.
yeah that is he. I'm not the only one there tomorrow. There's also a apparently a Canadian and a Scotsman joining us.
Yeah, he says it's on his channel.
On his channel. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm joining a stream on his channel with a Canadian and a Scotsman. I can only guess the Scotsman is probably tailed feature. I don't know who the Canadian is.
Yeah, there's a few.
Oh yeah. It's a real pest at this point.
Oh, okay. Well, having said that, we are at the end of the stream. Thank you, chat. As always, thank you very much for showing up. We really do appreciate it. We do this because we enjoy it and because we love interacting with you. So, couldn't do it without you.
When you talk.
When you talk. So, anyway,
and one last thing. Sorry. I just wanted to explain why I was a bit late. I already said it was a stream. It was a gaming stream, and I finally got my first win at Fortnite. So if you wanna check out this burst of happiness, the live stream is saved on my channel.
Well, there you go, folks. If you want to see Minding get good, go over to his channel. At any rate, that's going to be it for us, guys. Again, thanks so much. And as always, get out of my yard.
Bye.
Bye.